even though still I feel like as a pregnant woman, y'all bother us too much. Like, leave it be. Stop sticking your fingers in my fucking uterus so much. Not my uterus, my vagina so much. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot that we go through while we're pregnant. But like, yeah, I ended up transitioning to that program, and I felt a lot more safer. I felt a lot better. I felt like I was getting a lot more information about, my pregnancy and all that stuff. So I did like it over there way better. I also did my own research on my own time, and like I said, I willingly wanted to have natural childbirth. I thought it was what was best for the child. I just felt like having an epidural, that medicine is passed on to my baby, and I didn't want it. Also, having an epidural, I'm sticking a long ass needle in my spine. That doesn't feel like normal. I would just endure the pain and go through it. As you know, like I prefer to endure the pain and go through it. and I still do. I will, if I ever conceive and have children, God willing, nothing goes wrong, I will opt to have a natural childbirth. If there is something that goes wrong, then I will use my common sense and allow Western medicine to step in. However, if there is nothing wrong, I want to have natural childbirth. I will feel the pain I need to feel and keep it moving. So that was my birthing plan. I was literally had a birthing plan to give birth in water. But that didn't work out. And you gotta pivot. You gotta pivot. So getting into the actual birthing story, literally, the day before I gave birth, I remember having like labor pains, but they kind of felt like little cramps. It was nothing like really, really serious, or nothing that like made me think anything was wrong or that I was about to give birth. I think I was supposed to have my daughter on the 19th, and I had her on the 13th. So like, it wasn't like, I'm thinking like, my due date is close, but like, she ain't coming. And so when you're pregnant, you have little weird feelings sometimes. And like, I did have, when I say I'm skipping through my pregnancy, like I did have sciatica pain, like when I would like, because I wouldn't want it to seem like it was just so beautiful and like glorious, even though I felt fucking amazing pregnant. I felt like a superwoman while I was pregnant. I had heightened senses. Like, I lie to you not, like I had heightened senses. I felt like I was glowing. I felt so fucking beautiful. I did not have like swelling or any of that. Like, I would walk miles, and I felt completely fine. Like I said, I would waddle from this end of the campus, that end of the campus, this part, like I was just all around. Like, so my activity was just like, I just kept a normal life. I didn't even gain crazy weight. Literally, when I was probably 5 months pregnant, I probably looked like I was 2 or 3 months pregnant. When I was probably like 7 months pregnant, I probably looked 5 months pregnant. And then it was like, kind of like when I get to the 8th month, it was like, oh, you're pregnant. And but still, it didn't look like I was like ready to have a baby pregnant until like overnight. It just happened overnight. It was like, oh, okay, I can see that the baby's coming. And so I just felt so beautiful, and like I carried her well. But I did have issues. Like, I had extreme morning sickness. And it wasn't just morning. It was like, if I ate, I was gonna throw up, and it was a lot of acid stuff, and it was god awful. So not only am I throwing up, which I hate throwing up, it tastes like pure poison. And so it was morning, noon, night. And so like, I had to be very particular in what I ate, how I ate it. A lot of times what helped me to get through like not throwing up was taking a Pepsi. I don't know why, but it definitely helped with that indigestion, the acid reflux. And I think that's more of what mine was, like indigestion, acid reflux. I would literally have those issues. And so I would throw up for the slightest things. Fish, couldn't do fish, couldn't do shrimp, couldn't do none of that shit. She did not like it. Just had to eat light. So like I definitely had parts of my pregnancy where I just felt like ugh. The sciatica was fucking crazy because like if I did not allow her to shift off of my nerve before I would get up in the morning, like I would fall. So like when it's time to get out of the bed, like you moving to get yourself out of the bed, like once I try to step down, like I'm gonna fall flat on the floor if I'm not careful, because she would lay on that nerve, and it was so painful. It was so painful. I would literally have to sit up for a while and wait for her to reposition herself. I would have to keep like stuff like ginger ale and like graham crackers near the bedside, because if I didn't eat anything at all, like I would get sick. So I had to eat stuff, but I had to just be strategic and light. I definitely needed a soda. Don't judge me. Don't judge me whatsoever. I definitely needed soda because it was bad. Even on my delivery day, I literally threw up. I had ate a plum, and like I was throwing up. Like I was throwing up so bad on the day that I delivered. Like it was like, what in the fuck? Like, I thought, like, I had, like, weighing this out. Like, but I threw up the whole pregnancy, for real. Every time I think I had a trick that would, like, fix it, it was like, But, like, I remember, like, I'm gonna get back into it. So, like, the day before, you have, like, these little different feelings in your body and all that stuff. But being pregnant was, like, one of the most beautiful experiences in my whole entire life. Like, I associate being pregnant with, like, this beautiful, magical experience. And so literally I just remember like I had class that day. So I had class earlier that day. So I came back home, and I had a night class. And my night class, it was like a child development class, and it was like a 2-hour and 40-minute class, because I used to do that sometimes. Like, you can take a 2-hour and 40-minute class, and literally you only go to that class once a week. So like, even if you're taking all these classes, like, you don't have to worry about feeling super overloaded, because like you only go to that class once a week. The only catch is that because you go to that class once a week, you're sitting in that class all day long. It feels like 2-hour and 40-minute lecture does feel so fucking long. Just imagine me and talk to for 2 hours and 40 minutes like this video is almost getting. And you're not always interested in the information. So literally we just sat in that class. But that class was dope. It wasn't that bad. It was child development. I was pregnant. I'm going to school to be a teacher, because I had changed my track from biology to teaching. Once I found out I was pregnant, I forgot to put that in there. So I changed from a biology track to teaching track. I picked up a religious studies degree. So I was double majoring. So I had my teaching, the elementary education, and I had the religious studies degree. Religious studies started out as a minor. I also had a history minor, but I ended up dropping that once I realized that I was going to double major. I double majored because religious studies was something that I literally loved. I loved it more than actually getting the idea of getting the elementary teaching degree. Definitely a teacher at heart, period, and love that, period. Like, what I'm doing now is like teaching in a different way. Like, I'm teaching you through my own experiences. I'm sharing with you through my own experiences. So literally teaching is at my heart and my core. And but religious studies was always at my heart and my core, like since I was a little girl. Like, I was so fascinated with religion. And I literally rediscovered it in college, and it was one of the most, I could never take like college back now. Like, for something that had plagued me in the beginning of starting it out and just feeling so lost with it, like, it became a safe haven for me. It became like, I rediscovered my love for learning. I rediscovered my passions about different parts and aspects of life. It was just beautiful. Biology was something I always loved as well. And so with biology, I literally still got to work with biology because I was doing the tutoring and the supplemental instruction. So like, I still was very up to date with biology and learning biology from doing that. So I kind of got to keep everything that I wanted. It just transformed into looks different ways. So saying all of that, I double major. I realized I was gonna double major because I wanted both, and it was cheaper to double major. So like, it was cheaper to double major opposed to getting that one degree and then coming back and getting the degree in that. It would have been cheaper because I could just like combine this. The tuition wouldn't change if I took. I think I could take up to like 21 credits without my tuition changing. So you could do full time as 12 credits and up. And so 12 credits is what people averagely take. The cap on the tuition, so the tuition wouldn't change. It wouldn't be more and it wouldn't be less if I took 21 credits. So what I ended up doing was learning that like, oh, I can take 21 credits a semester and I can knock this shit out and I can literally still graduate in a time frame that would literally be on task, because not only was I getting my bachelor's in elementary education, I was getting my master's in teaching. So literally I would have ended up, I calculated all of this. I was like, I'm going to end up with 3 degrees by the time I'm like 24, 25. So like, I had already made all these plans and all this stuff in my head. So I don't even know how I got on this topic, but like, that was my career goals. And so like, literally, I'm taking this childhood development class that goes with my teaching. Plus it was helpful for me as a parent because I was unlearning a lot of toxic shit. And so with childhood development, like, you learn how children think. And so I was reconnecting to myself as a child and what was going on with me. Literally taking child psychology classes also helped. And so like, I would take electives that correlated with my real life and that correlated with my degrees, just so I could learn what would be important to me. And so like, before I even had a child, I knew that like a lot of my toxic parenting ways were toxic, and it was learned behavior. And I tried to work on the ones that I could identify. I get older and I grow more and I realize more shit in me that like I didn't realize was wrong or bad. Sociology was another class that like kind of helped me with preparing to be a mother and trying to be better as a person. Looking at family units and all that shit. So child development, we in that class 2 hours and 40 minutes. Before I get up to go to this class, I told y'all I came home that day, and I think I took a nap. I don't know if I was coming home from work, school, or something, but I know I came home and took me a nap. And I woke up to go to class because I had these alarms and stuff. I had crazy alarms. Like, my life was crazy. It was crazy busy, crazy scheduled. It was filled. Gotta stay busy so that those demons don't haunt you. And now I'm like, we're gonna face these demons head on. We cutting heads off if you can't get with the program. Like, if you can't get with the program, you're a demon that can't stay. Now, if you're a demon that, you know, you're valuable, you ain't hard-headed, then we can make some use for you and figure this out. But back then, it was just like all running from the demons. Stay busy, stay busy, stay busy, stay busy. So like, I was very busy. It was very like, it was methodical. Like, I had to like be on time for it. Had to be a time set. So I literally, and not to mention that like, my mom had been taking care of my uncle since I was in middle school. He had dementia. So like, not only am I, you know, doing school, I'm helping her with school, I'm helping her with him. I'm doing a lot. So it's not just like I'm doing school work and coming home. Home was a task and a responsibility and stuff too. So I literally woke up. I thought I had peed myself. I was in denial. I was in denial that I was in labor. But I thought I had peed myself. Like, I literally was like, oh, I must have been, asleep. It never had happened. Like, it never had happened while I was pregnant. I've had little moments where, like, I laughed too hard and maybe, like, some pee would come out. But, like, the bed was soaking wet. Like, the bed was soaking wet. And I'm like, maybe I just peed on myself. So, like, I get up. I tell my mom, like, like, I woke up, I think I peed on myself, like, but, so I just start, like, changing the sheets, and I take, the sheets off the bed, spraying the mattress, trying to, clean up after myself, and I think I, like, took a shower, and, washed the sheets, and then got ready for class, and, went on to class, and sat in that 2-hour and 40-minute class. I did notice. I did notice, so I thought I was tripping, but like I noticed that when I sat in the 2-hour and 40-minute class, that's when like me and my other friend from middle school, we had the same class, and like we bonded in that class. We bonded in that class and our human sexuality class. That class was really dope. That's where we learned a lot about like STDs, sex work, sex period, and how people view sex. Like that was like sexually freeing for me. It was just like, oh, y'all niggas been shunning me and motherfuckers, like, and y'all really don't have to do this. But yet y'all glorify killing and all that shit, but y'all will shun and shame and guilt sex. But I don't know. That class was liberating for me. It was really dope. Shout out to the professor of that class. She changed a lot of views I had about sex. And seriously, what else? So I'm in that class, and I think like when I got up after the class ended, I remember even some parts of the class, but when the class ended, I could have sworn like I thought I was just maybe sweating a little too much, like, but it was like a little wet spot. But I thought maybe I was sweating too much. Because I was really hot. I was really hot that night, and I was having cramps, but because people made being in labor such a horrifying story, like I thought that they were maybe Braxton Hicks or something like that, or just something that was nagging or something. So I was just like, you know what, like I remember talking to my friend that night and walking to the car. It's late because it was like a 7 to 9:40 class. It's late, and I was just we talked and kicked it. I'm having some little pains and shit, but they weren't nothing major. And so I remember getting back home, and I just remember feeling really tired, which wasn't abnormal. Like I would push through my tiredness while I was pregnant. But there was a lot of times where I had lots of energy, so it just was like hit or miss. So she went her way, I went mine. I went back home. That night, not only am I having whatever I got going on, my mom is feeling not well. So that night she was back and forth to the bathroom, and I remember just feeling like she's wrong, like she could deal with it, and I just went to sleep. And when I woke up, though, I think it was probably like 5 o'clock. It was really early that morning. I woke up to her telling me that she thinks something was really wrong. And what she described, like it, I was like, you have to go to the hospital. Like you need to go to the hospital immediately. Like, do you want me to drive you, or do you think you can drive yourself? And she was like, well, I can drive myself. I just want you to stay here with your uncle. And I was like, okay, but I have class this morning because I think I had like an econ class at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I was just like, I got econ class, and I can't miss it, and I just, need to go. And then I was telling her, like, I was just worried about her and wanted her to be better and feel better. So I was just like, I'll go to that class and then I'll come back. And I think I had 2 classes that day. And I actually was just like, the econ one was definitely important to me for some reason. Probably because I was like fucking off in it or something, in some kind of avenue. Like I needed to give it some attention. But I just remember her going to the hospital. Pretty bird. I remember her going to the hospital, and She was there. I ended up just feeling like I couldn't get right. I felt like when I would lay down, I needed to be up. When I would be up, I needed to lay down. I felt like I was hungry, but I wasn't hungry. And so like I remember going and trying to eat a plum because I was like, well, I gotta go to this class. I need to eat something. So like I went to the kitchen and got a plum. I ate the plum and immediately like and it wasn't even an acid. Like I just immediately started earling. Like so I'm just like, well, I can't eat. So like I lay down, I go to sleep. I'm like, I got probably like 1 more hour before I had to get up and go to this class. So then I'm just like, it's time to get up and go to this class. And I'm just like, I can't do this. Like, I'm going to have to miss this class. So I end up emailing the teacher, letting them know like I wasn't feeling well. I had to end up missing the class. I would do that like just to communicate, even if the teacher don't know that who the fuck I am, because most of the time they don't know who you are unless you start to meet during office hours or talk to them after class. Like that's when they get to know you as an individual student, and they love that. They fucking love it, and I loved it too because I want to know, more. So for him though, like I think I did form somewhat of a relationship with him, just not really a close one, but one that let him know I was interested in econ. But yeah, I remember I think sending out this email like I'm not gonna be able to make it to class, and just laying back down and trying to go to sleep, then just being jolted up. Like I could not get comfortable for nothing. And so my stomach was like not even hurting for real. Like it was just like some minor pains here and there. But I just remember just feeling internally off. Like it wasn't pain that made me feel off. It was just internally, I just felt like, what in the fuck? Like something's wrong. And but it didn't feel like something wrong, like an emergency. So I was just like, you know what? I can't do class today. So I ended up making sure my uncle ate. He used to be incontinent, so I had to make sure like his diaper was changed and all that stuff. So I'm just like, trying. I think at the time, like my parents, like my stepdad and my mom had broke up. And so like, but my stepdad, I think she had let him move back in. He was living in the basement. And so I think, I was trying to wait till he got off work before I left the house because my uncle has dementia, and if you don't watch them, they will wander off. So like if you could be in the house and they'll try to sneak out the back door, like they will wander off. So we never liked leaving him alone, but it was like I was worried about my mom too. So my mom was in the hospital, not having like, knowing what's going on with her. And so I was worried. So I'm going through, now I know, I'm going through active labor. Like, I'm going through active labor, but I don't know. And so, I ended up saying, well, Mom, I've been waiting for my stepdad to get home. He's not home yet. And I go to the hospital to check on her. And so, when I get there, like, my niece and her son is there. She didn't really raise him at the time, period, no times. So like I remember him just being in the hospital acting like a child that hasn't had any, child rearing, whatever, like manners. And that was getting on my nerves because he would even come up to my stomach and like hit my stomach, and it's just like, bitch, like why wouldn't you tell your child like not to do that? And so like I would have to like tell him like, you could touch my stomach, but like don't hit my stomach, like be gentle. And so she was getting on my mama nerves, he was getting on my mama nerves, he was getting on my nerves, but he was a child. I was more mad at her. Like, he's a child, like you need to raise your child. And so I guess her heart was in the right place, but I don't know, I have no idea. But I do just remember that being like very got on my motherfucking nerves. And I'm just gonna tell you the truth. So like I'm there and I'm trying to like make sure my mom okay, like, well, have you heard anything? And she was like, they told me they was gonna keep me, but they don't have a room for me right now, so they're gonna keep me in the emergency room until one of the rooms clear out on the floor that they gonna put her on. And so I'm just like, like, do you need anything? And like while I'm there checking on her, I don't know. I ain't never had, labor before. I've studied all this stuff. I know what a mucus plug is. I've been told it was going to come out, but when the shit happens, you don't know. And so I'm literally keep having to go to the bathroom. And so like I keep going to the bathroom and this like gunk is coming out. That's what it reminds me of. Like it's like a white gunk. And it's coming out and I'm like, what in the fuck is like, what is this? And so like I'm telling my mom, like when I go use the bathroom, like gunk is coming out. As I'm talking, like my stomach is literally like contorting. and I'm in pain, but it's not like I was thinking that like when they said you're in labor, like the pain is going to be excruciating. Like they make it seem so horrifying that like I just was like, oh well. It felt like it didn't even feel like harsh period cramps at this point. It felt like light period cramps to me. But my stomach is contorting and I could feel that physical movement, but it wasn't like really super painful. But it would like come in these like 2 to 3 minute, the pain would come in these 2 to 3 minute like parts. I know now I'm having contractions, but back then I didn't know that I'm having contractions. So like, and I have been having contractions since the day before. And so literally, my mom was like, Latifah, I think you're in labor. I think you're in labor. And I'm like, I don't think I'm in labor. I just think like, I'm in denial. So she was like, I think you should walk yourself over to the emergency room. And I'm just like, I'm fine. And so she was like, well, if you're not going to do that, then like, could you go check on your uncle? Because, you left him to come see me and he needs you more than I do and all that stuff. Like, I'm good. I'm in the hospital with the doctors. So I'm just like, yeah, sure. And this was probably about like, this was like early afternoon, like not early, but probably like 4 or 5 afternoon. I know it was before it got like super dark. That's when she told me like she thought I was in labor and that I needed to check myself into the hospital. And I was just like, I don't think so. Whatever, like that. And so she was like, go check on your uncle. But she really was telling me that like she really thought like I should check myself in. And so what I told her was like when she get her room, I'll check myself in. And I was like, I don't want to check myself in. And he's not cared for, like, because my stepdad still hadn't came home. He wasn't answering the phone. So like we didn't know, didn't want to leave him. So I'm driving in active labor. So like I drive back from MCV back to Northside and I go check on my uncle and make sure he eats again and just like he's clean and all that shit and go tell him to get in bed. And so I chill at the house for a little bit and then I go back to the hospital because my stepdad comes home. So I go back to the hospital. This probably about like maybe like 8 or 9. I go back to the hospital. I sit with my mom for a while. They eventually get her a room at like maybe 11 or 12. And I remember even the doctors like telling me they thought like I was in labor. And so she was just like, make sure I'm getting my room. I'm good. Like I was good the whole time I'm in here. Like, I'm with the doctors and like literally make sure you go over to the maternity ward and check yourself in. And so I was like, all right. But even before that happened, like my brother ends up calling me while I was on my way to the hospital the second time and ends up like calling and fussing and was like, I don't know what's going on down there and like y'all need to make sure mom is okay. And I'm just like, I couldn't even conceptualize that maybe she had called him and probably freaked him the fuck out because like back then I didn't even look at her like as a narcissistic parent. But like now that I know what I know, she probably called him and spun that shit some kind of way, and when I was really literally the one who was looking out for her and Wayne. And so like I was just like pissed off. I'm like, who are you talking to? Like, I'm the one down here doing all this shit. So like I remember like I got into it with my brother. I was like cussing him out. Like I was telling him, man, like I will fuck you up. Like don't call me with this shit. Like I'm the one like literally thinking I'm like, you know, in labor, but I'm not sure if I'm in labor. Like I'm the one running around this bitch trying to make sure everybody okay, and I'm not even okay. But I didn't even say it. It just came out in like just pure anger. Like, how the fuck dare you call me with this shit? Like, I'm the one here. You're not here. But I think it was more like he felt like he wasn't there, so he wanted to make sure that like we was looking after her. But whatever she spun to him wasn't true. Like, I was there. So I ended up having that like argument with my brother, like had to cuss him out. And hindsight, I look at it like, oh, okay. I walk over because my mom get her room. I walk over to the maternity ward, and I ended up having to deal with this black lady who had all the sense, and I'm telling her, you know, like she's asking intake questions, and I'm telling her what I'm experiencing, what's happening. She asks me how far apart are my contractions, and I tell her that they're like 2 to 3 minutes apart. And she was like, you're not 2 to 3 minutes apart. Like, I just remember this black bitch telling me this shit. And I was just like, she was like, you be in here hollering and screaming. And I'm just thinking in my head like, bitch, don't you think I know that too? And so like, I'm always, when I have my realities, like I just look back at my past. Like every time I've had my reality, people literally are telling me my reality is not my reality, and it ends up being my reality. And it's like, I'm not everybody else. And it's like, I'm even learning now that like I have to trust my own reality, because these people in the past that have had authority figure like over me has made me question my own reality, and that's fucked up. We live in a broken society where people will have you questioning your own reality. So always trust you. Always trust you. Doesn't mean you're going to always be right, but it just means that you are better trusting yourself and being wrong than trusting somebody else and being wrong. Trust you first. Because that lady sat there and told me like she literally like was an elder black woman, literally sat there and told me I was not in active labor. She told me that like basically I was lying about my contractions being 2 to 3 minutes apart. She told me that I was going to go back there. Like she told me all this shit, and it was so unprofessional, and it was so fucked up while I was going through labor, and she didn't know shit about me. Literally, she told me I was gonna go back there and all they was gonna do was send me home. So what if I was like not listening to myself and honoring myself, and I would have been like, oh well, never mind, and went back home on my own? I would have literally had my baby at home. And so I go back there, and Lord and behold, like they checked my cervix and I'm 5 centimeters dilated. Like I literally did half of my labor on my own. So the doctors were amazed at how cool I was. I was not hollering and screaming. But I've endured so much pain as a child. Like I have been through the most horrific, painful experiences that like I have a high tolerance for pain. And so like what others may deem as excruciating pain is not excruciating to me. Like excruciating pain is excruciating pain. Like it has to be very, very painful for me to just be in pain. And even when it is, my pain dissipates very quickly. So like it's like, ooh, this is painful, and I just like, you gotta get it together, and then it's gone. It doesn't linger like other people may experience pain. I don't know, because I don't experience pain as the average person does. And I've learned that, and doctors that I've dealt with has even told me that, like, that my pain tolerance is a little different. Because every time I go into a doctor's office, like, of complaining about an ailment, they don't take me serious because I'm not, like, balled up in pain. So, like, I've literally learned that I have to act like I'm in pain, because the level of pain that I am experiencing would probably be so bad for someone else that like I'm not experiencing it that same way. So I literally have to perform that I'm in pain, because when I tell them I'm in pain, because I'm not showing it, they don't believe me. Like, I've almost died that way because they didn't believe that something was wrong because I wasn't showing symptoms or outright just balled up crying that I'm in pain when I really was in pain, but I just deal with pain different. And it's not a black thing. People keep thinking it's just black things. No, it's the things that was done to black people that we build a pain tolerance. If you had that shit done to you and you was able to survive it too, you'd build a pain tolerance. Like, you'd build it. It's not that we just black and we don't feel pain. No, your ancestors have done some horrific shit to us that we have a high tolerance for pain. And then our ancestors turned around and did some shit to us that we even have a more higher tolerance for pain because it came from people that loved us. So literally, it's in the bloodline, plus it continues depending on your path and your journey in life. So it's not just about race. It is about what you've done to these groups of people, why they can endure pain, because they're still living. They survived it. So I've gotten off on a tangent again. It happens. But anyway, so I ended up going back there immediately. The doctors come in, check my cervix. They're shocked too, but they didn't tell me what the fuck that lady told me. She just literally came in the room and was like, I'm gonna check your cervix. If you're not at least, I think she said, if you're not at least like 2 centimeters dilated, we're gonna send you home. She said it in a more professional way. And so she checks my cervix, 5 centimeters. She's shocked. She was like, oh my gosh, like, you're 5 centimeters, like, dilated. You're just sitting here. And so, like, I'm just like, yeah. And I let her know, like, I just came over from my mom. My mom has been admitted to the hospital. So, like, they knew everything that was going on and what was going on with me and all that stuff. So, like, so they even knew, like, my mom and my daughter. Like, they knew my mom and me, and even when I had my daughter, like, they knew all of us in the hospital. Like, it had reached different floors in the hospital that we were all there at the same time. And then by my daughter being named after my mom, it was just like everybody kind of like in the hospital got word of that. So I ended up laboring with like the last half of it with my midwife. Sweet lady. She taught me a lot too. But also I had an EMT. I think she was training to get hours and she needed to watch a live childbirth. And so she asked could she be in the room with me while I was laboring, and I was like, cool. And so had that experience. I did not have family. I did not have friends. It was so late at night, like, you kind of like don't want to call people and wake people out of their bed. So I did try to like text, people that, I knew. Like, I it was like, I guess I just like text like, oh, well, I'm having, the baby, and I'm just so used to being a lone wolf that, like, I don't know how to reach out to people and be like, I'm having a baby and I'm here alone and I don't have anyone. Nope. It was just like, I'm having a baby and that was that. Like, and I'm pretty sure maybe if I would have been vulnerable and been like, I'm having a baby and I'm by myself, I only have these 2 white women in the room with me, someone would have came. And, but it's just that, like I said, I'm used to doing shit on my own. I'm a lone wolf and I don't really know how else to do things. I'm learning. I'm still learning, and we're gonna get there one day at a time. So yeah, I literally had it set up where I was gonna do a natural childbirthing in water. So they had, thank God, the room, because it wasn't my time to deliver, but they did have an open room for me to labor in water. Laboring in water slowed my contractions. So I had made it to 7 centimeters. Still fine with my contractions. I did not feel like this overwhelming pain, like I was gonna die or anything like that. It just felt like period cramps, and light period cramps at that to me. And I'm not doing the toxic strength. This is just me and my pain level, my pain threshold. is high. So when my labor pains started to slow up from the water, not pains, but my contractions started to slow up from the water, because they hook you up to the machine and all that stuff. There was like, I had to get out of the water and try to do it some kind of other way. Maybe the water was helping her feel like she had to come back out or something. So they told me I would just do it another way. So I remember them waiting to try to see if my contractions would pick back up. My contractions did not pick back up like they wanted it to. So and definitely from me telling the story of me laboring, my labor starting the night before, and my sac bursting there that night before. So like, that's a long time. So like, it was really, wanting her to come. And so my sac did start to refill too. That's something that like they don't talk about, but it did start to refill. I don't know how that works, but for her it did. Like, so literally I remember my midwife saying that she was going to give me Pitocin. So a doctor had came in earlier and said, hey, look, I know you want to have natural childbirth, but like, this is for if anything, any complications happen, you can already have this paperwork signed out and filled in. And like, literally, if you need the medicine, we could come in and you don't got to worry about the formalities. We could just come give you the needle. And this was if you needed an emergency. Seems like anything that you needed, like, we could just come give you this needle and be done. So that I was like, okay, that makes sense. And I signed the paperwork. And so, baby, the midwife was like, your contractions have slowed up. Like, her heart rate, it wasn't just that the contractions had slowed up, like her heart rate was slowing down too. So they was literally saying like, it was imperative that like, we get her out. So they gave me Pitocin. Pitocin speeds up your contractions. And baby, do they speed up your labor pains. Like, I began to experience a pain out of this motherfucking world. I've been burned alive. And I think burned alive is number one, because there is no reprieve. So like, with contractions, you get some relief. Burn, I was just being burned. And then even after, it was just excruciating pain. Toothache and pregnancy, I compare as far as pains. It's funny, like, some people might have a toothache and they feel like it ain't shit. Like, for me, the toothaches I've had, but I've had an impacted like wisdom tooth, and that was excruciating pain. Like, it was literally worse having it in than getting it taken out. And so, but there's no reprieve from the toothache either. But I definitely think labor pains still take toothache. So I would say being burned alive was the worst pain I've ever experienced. Labor, and then toothaches hurt so bad. So like, those are my pain levels of stuff. Like, other stuff, like, they dissipate. So like, even if they have like a high pain level, like, it goes away. Like, being stung by an animal, like a bee, or not an animal, an insect or something, like, very painful in first impact, but like, it goes away. So like, I can't compare those things. I'm thinking about things that like, it's a problem until you get it out. Like, the tooth is a problem until you get it out. The baby is a problem until you get it out. I felt, matter of fact, I would have to say, like, the burn and the pregnancy was like the worst pains I've ever experienced in my life, because we can't even put the tooth in it, because I had out-of-body experiences for both. I didn't have out-of-body experiences for my tooth, but for my laboring and being burned alive, like, I had an out-of-body experience. When they gave me the Pitocin, I don't know what the fuck happened with those cramps, but those cramps turned into, it felt like my body was contorting, and it felt like I was gonna die. It felt like I was gonna die. I didn't know what was hitting me. and then it was like it would stop, and then it would hit the fuck out of you all over again. And I remember just trying to use the exercise ball. I remember being butt ass naked in front of these women in the shower, not even caring. And I'm a person that I don't like everybody looking at me naked. I don't care how good in shape I am or how bad in shape I am. I don't like everybody looking at me naked. And it's just like, I don't care if you're man or woman, like I don't want you looking at me naked. And I'm just like butt booty cheek naked in this shower, like trying to work through these labor pains and these cramps and all this shit. Is just like, I'm just dying. And so I just feel like I done watched myself, like I done jumped out of myself. I'm watching her on this balloon ball. and I'm just like, where's the gun? I'm ready to like shoot us and put us out of our memory. I even thought about like jumping, like my soul wanted to jump out the window. Like it was just like how do we escape? It was like a mouse trapped into like a maze trying to chew itself out, and it was just like, how do we get out of this? And it was like, but you can't. And then you got to go back into yourself. And that was like so painful. But because the Pitocin speeds up everything, like it didn't last long. And before I knew it, I probably pushed 2 or 3 times. I was scared to push. Like I was scared that the pushing part was gonna hurt, because like the baby got to come through that small ass hole. And I was just like, but that's the part that I always feared would be the hurtful part. But it's the contractions. Like the pushing part is a relief. It does hurt, but it's a relief once it start to come through. And so literally, I think while I was pushing, I was praying, I was yelling, I was screaming to Allah, Buddha, Jesus, like God, Allah, Buddha, God, all sorts. Like I called on everything that I knew to like help save me. And then I even made a promise, like if you get me through this, like I'll never have sex again. I'll never have sex again. I'll never have sex again. I always had guilt about that. And it was like talking to other women, it was like, no, just about all of us say that. Like, we'll never do this again. And then we forget and we do it again. And it's like you get me through it the first time. But I have talked to a lot of women and they say it gets easier each child you have. I did have a 5-pound, 13-ounce baby. So she was very small. She was very pequeña because she wouldn't allow me to eat much. So, and she was full term. She was not a preemie or nothing. Like the baby came out with muscles. She could use her neck. She was like this. She was like this in the world. Like just looking like a little turtle. Like I never had to I would hold her neck, but like I didn't have to hold my child's neck because she came out looking around and doing this. Like she just was alert and ready for the world. I'm like, girl. But she was born with the cord around her neck. She was I think she had also made like a little poopsie in her sack. So like she did have some little things that they wanted to monitor and make sure she was okay with. The way that it happened was like soon as I was giving birth, her godmother came in. So like how I said, I sent out a text to let people know like, she was coming. Her godmother came, and she came in right when she was coming out. And she got to experience that with one contact in, one flip flop on. Yeah. She was such a beautiful baby. I just remember too, this is a part of my laboring story that most women don't want to speak about, that experience this is I did not immediately connect with my child. I had went through so much fucking pain that I registered that thing as a thing. And I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I looked at it as a thing immediately. Get this thing off of me. Kind of because they slap it on you. And I keep saying it because that's how it came out for me. I had went through so much pain at that end part. I had never felt pain like that before in my life. And I went through so much pain, and this is a person with high pain tolerance. Even though it took 2 or 3 pushes to get her out, I went through so much pain. I didn't have to have like stitches or anything like that, so that was good, but it was still extremely fucking painful. And so I just remember like them slapping her on me. She's covered in all this stuff, and I did not connect with my child right away. I was like traumatized. I was in so much pain. I was still trying to catch up with what everything that had happened, so I hadn't fully connected with my child like how, you know, some mothers do, like, oh, this is my baby. Like, nope, hadn't had that moment yet. So they put the child on you. They immediately, you know, like take the child off you after a little second, and then they start to clean the child. And literally that was the processing for me. They put this child on me. They took her back and started cleaning her. I don't know if her godmother cut her cord. I don't remember who cut her cord. I can't remember none of that shit. But then this is another part that they leave out in the birthing story, is that like when you birth the baby, then you gotta birth the fucking placenta. And so that's attached to your skin. And so like they're pushing down on your stomach to make sure that you push the fucking placenta out. And it is another excruciating, painful experience. It's not as painful as the baby, but it's like, God damn, something just came through here and another thing got to come through it after. And so I'm just having all these like, these thoughts and feelings. And the placenta is definitely very important, and we need to stop giving our placentas to the hospital. But if you have a hospital birth, you automatically sign over your placentas, and there's stem cells in your placenta that they experiment on, and by you signing over your placenta, they're literally experimenting on the stem cells that you and your child have in the placenta and have created during the birthing process, like during the pregnancy. And they find so many cures and so much magic in the stem cells that literally they get you to blindly sign your placenta over. That's why I said I want to have a home birth going forward. If there are complications, then I'll rely on Western medicine, but I want a doula or like a doula. I think you do a midwife at the hospital, but I forgot what's the difference between the both. But I definitely want a doula. Someone to come to the home. And I give birth at home because it's a more natural experience. And the way that you give birth in a bed is unnatural. It's not really natural to having a baby. I felt so much more comfortable on all four than I did laying on my back trying to push something out. Like, just imagine trying to like poop and you're laying on your back. Like, yeah, you should be squatting or either like on fours. Like, it just felt more natural when I was going through those motions and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a segue. But yeah, like, you got to give birth to this placenta. I did get to see my placenta, and like it was smooth on one side and then like really rough on the other side. I got to touch it. I wish I would have kept it. A lot of women do different things with their placenta. I will be doing, if I do have kids, I literally, and I feel like God is gonna allow me to have kids. I'm literally doing work to like, for myself, and to like procreate and have more kids on this earth that got some goddamn sense and can make a difference in this life. And you know, the first kid I had, even not at my most healed state, you know, she's doing good. She's a good person. She got some shit she got to work on, but like, don't we all? But I'm very proud of her. Like, highly intelligent, and I'm so proud of her. Like, she's highly intelligent. She has common sense. She does have some shit she got to work on, but we all do, and I be trying to work with her on it. And then she's gonna have her own journey in life that God takes her through, and you know, she'll have her foundation, and we'll see what she does in this world, because I always knew she was gonna do something great. Like, and people always came up to me and was telling me like how special she was. And this was even before she could like just even talk. Like, people would come to me and ask me to be a surrogate mom, and well, not people, it was one lady that did that, and I was just like, I don't think I could do that. It's just the attachment thing for me, I guess. But yeah, I've thought about it. I've been desperate for it as like a college student. I was struggling before I had my own child. Like I was desperate for it. But yeah, it's been plenty of times I've been desperate. Men sell their seeds all the time, but no one bats an eye. But like for me, it was just like this attachment that like I was gonna be giving away one of my kids, my potential children. Anywho, yeah, back to the placenta thing. Like, I just had to give birth to this baby, and now I'm giving birth to this placenta. So, like, all this weird shit is just happening to me, and I'm just like, this is overwhelming. This is too much. I'm by myself once again. Cause I think like her godmom had to go to work, and so like she didn't get to stay the whole time, but she did get to be there when she was birthed. So that was awesome and amazing. That I did have somebody there from my friend group. And literally, I do remember like my stepdad ended up coming that morning and seeing her as well. So, for me, it kind of like was funny because during my birthing, the doctor who came in for Charlotte, like she literally was telling me how her best friend was in the room next to me, and like she's freaking out because she hears me screaming. So yes, I was screaming like how you see on the movies and the TV. Like yes, I was screaming very fucking loudly. You gotta get it out. Like you gotta get it out. So she was like, her friend had heard me and it scared the shit out of her. She said, I probably scared all the women on the ward, on the birthing, like the maternity ward. And she was like, but she had to tell her friend, like, oh no, she's having natural childbirth. Like, you have an epidural. You won't feel what she's feeling. And so like everyone was just so amazed. I guess like too, because I was young and I had actually signed up for this. I was young and I had signed up for this, and this was during a time where like natural childbirth was starting to like pick back up, but like it still wasn't a thing amongst my community, the community that I was close to. I would think like it was being more mainstream to like white women, and this is what's healthy for the baby, but the education wasn't being pumped into my community. So, but I did notice like there was this uptick in like people wanting more natural childbirths, wanting what do you call it, breastfeeding, like that's what's best for the baby, like going back to being more natural. It was an uptick, but the information and education wasn't in my community. Like I had to search out for these things. And so I literally, I think like, I was kind of like a poster child in the hospital for that moment. And literally, it was also funny because my mom was also in the hospital. Then the baby was named after my mom. Like, so like it became talk around there about like what had happened and all that stuff. And literally I ended up connecting, and then too, my baby, she was so beautiful. Like she is so beautiful now, but she was like so beautiful as a baby. And like I remember the doctor telling me, yeah, I see all kind of babies, and like not all babies are cute. Like people need to stop saying that. But your baby is so pretty. She looks like a little doll baby. And like she had all this hair, and I was like, that's why I was sick the whole goddamn time. But she was just so beautiful. But I didn't get to make that connection until it was time for us to go to our room. So you have like the part of the hospital where you give birth, and then you have a part of the hospital where you got to go to your room. So like literally, I didn't have to have stitches, so I didn't have to worry about that and healing. So I could walk immediately after. I felt like fine as far as walking. I was very sore though. I was very sore in the woo-ha area, very sore in the stomach area. Boobs were sore, but like I was breastfeeding, so that was gonna happen anyway. So I get back to my room. I had signed up too, because they had just like, I guess like they started to allow like mothers to have their babies, because they used to keep them like in this area with other babies. But I had like opted in to have my baby in the room with me. The only time my baby would leave the room is if she needed to get shots or blood drawn, like blood work or something like that, vitals, certain stuff. So but she would literally be in the room with me, beside me, with her mother. But when it clicked for me that like I had just gave birth to my baby and like I had brought this beautiful life in the world, was when I was on my way up to my room and I was holding her in my arms while I was in the wheelchair, and literally that's when I saw, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's you that was been in my stomach this whole time. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I literally just, gave life. Like this is her. Like this is, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Like it just hit me. And like it hit me during that time where like I was like, oh well, I've kind of like blocked her father out. Like I've blocked him out of this experience, and this is such a beautiful fucking experience. And so like it was on my heart to like reach out to him and allow him to know that his daughter was born, and this was bigger than me and my petty ass feelings, and just allow him to be a part of her life and this experience. I don't regret not allowing him to be a part of my birthing, because that would have been best for me. But I did start to like feel bad, like, don't block him out if he wants to be a father. So I ended up getting to my room, and I ended up like, I remember I did have, like I told you, I had missed that econ class and we had econ homework. So I was like, I literally had my laptop. I had already planned, once I had checked myself in there, to bring my laptop. I didn't even bring a baby bag. I brought my laptop. So don't judge me. I literally was in the hospital after giving birth. Like after giving birth, no nap. I literally was in there just doing homework, and I remember texting. He would try to communicate to me on a number that I wasn't familiar with, but what I did was reach out and was like, hey, your daughter was just born. This is where we at. Gave him the room number and all that shit. And literally I get a text back and it says, he says he don't feel like coming. He don't feel like coming today. He'll be there tomorrow or some shit like that. And I was like, you don't feel like it? It didn't say, oh, he had to work. Oh, he can't come today. It said he don't feel like coming. He said he might be there tomorrow or some shit like that. It was very fucked up. And who relayed the message was the girl who was in the apartment that day. And literally I was just like, you know what, God, you trying me. It's trying times right now. So I ain't gonna hold you. That shit broke my heart. It broke my heart. I'm like, first of all, it broke my heart because it was like, what silly woman would even relay that message? Like, let's just say those words was his. What silly woman would relay that message that had a baby of her own to another woman who just had a baby that's his? That is actually his child. Like, why would you even relay that message to me? It hurt my feelings on that level. It hurt my feelings on the level of, I just had this beautiful baby. She deserves a father, and this is her father, and this is who he's associating with. And so, like, I cried so many tears. It was probably about a good, like, 2 or 3 minutes of crying. And I remember one of the nurses came in and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. And I told her what was going on. And she was like, she had a sister girl talk with me. And she was like, you know what? I know it hurts. Like, feel what you're feeling. But you're going to be okay. And so is this baby. Look at you right now. You're in the hospital. And you're crying and you're doing homework. And she was like, at least you know that you're going to be okay. Don't worry about that. Like, God got these people. Like, just continue to do your part as your mom and all that shit. Like, she just gave me a nice little sister girl talk, and she allowed me to feel human and feel my feelings and all that stuff. And she agreed that, like, that was fucked up. Like, it was fucked up on both ends. It was fucked up. And she was just like, don't worry about it. And, just try not to let them strip you of, you being a new mom and all that shit. So like, it was good. I thank God for always sending people to me. I've always had people, and that's what I always have to give credit to. I've always, even though I felt so alone, and I think that's why I wanted to tell this story, was because I've always just felt so alone. Like, it is a common thing through my childhood. It is a common thing through my young adult years, my teenage years. I think my teenage years is where I less felt alone, because I had friend groups. And so at any given moment, like, a person like me who have different friend groups, like, I can find different people to be around for whatever, feeling and moods I was going through. And so I think my teenage years is where I felt less alone, but I still felt alone there because I was missing something within. And but I actually had physical people to be around. Whereas I feel like my childhood and my young adult, I just felt alone because it's just like, it was like people wasn't really there consistently. It was no consistency. It was no consistency whatsoever. So like, I would get people along the journey and along the road that was very helpful and very detrimental to, like, not very detrimental, but very vital to uplifting me and getting me back focused. But it was for the moment. It was like these people would come and go for the seasons, and it was like nobody really stuck around for real. So it's just like, I tell this story because I definitely want to wrap up this being a narrative in my life. I definitely want to wrap up this being a narrative in my life. I want to utilize those that are there for a season and utilize those who are there, who are a part of my roots, who are a part of my tree limbs. But I also want to honor those that are a part of the leaves. And so definitely, if we look at myself as a deciduous tree, the leaves are constantly falling, constantly coming in. So I've always had that. But the ones that stay, that is very, and even if I did allow them to stay, I shouldn't have been dealing with those. I shouldn't have been dealing with most of those. So, literally, I am just learning that my life is changing, and I try to get all these stories the best way I can. They're a part of my life and they make me who I am. But moving forward, like, I know that I'll have different experiences in this lifetime that I'm experiencing now, and I thank God for it. And I thank God for the past too, because the past show you how strong He is. Because if you live through it, it'll show you how strong He is. So, I literally remember that. I remember sitting in the hospital crying, and because I was just like, I was trying to be the bigger person and allow Him to be a part, and that hurt me because it segued to what my childhood experience. But yeah, so I remember that. And then so I did have visitors during that time. My aunt came, and one of my cousins, she ended up having a baby like 2 days after I had a baby. So her mom had came to visit me because I think she was in the hospital or in the area for her. And so even if it wasn't that hospital, like, I just remember her coming to see me. Like, my aunt came to see me, which I do love and appreciate her. She's on my dad's side. I haven't really been talking to family. I just don't feel like it. I don't want to. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. If you were a decent person to me, I do want to make that clear. Like, if you were decent to me, like, you were decent to me, and I still love you and still honor the relationship. It's just that I'm finding my own way and figuring out my own life right now. And I don't have close family relationships, period. So, like, why pretend to now? So, what I'm trying to say is, like, just because I haven't spoken to you, even if you haven't mistreated me, doesn't mean that I don't like you. It just means that I only have enough energy and time for me and Charlotte. So, Just saying there's no ill will if I haven't spoken to anyone that I do like. That I do like. But yeah, my aunt had came, my sisters had came. So my sister before it's twins, and she came before she, had passed. We had actually reconnected during my baby shower. So like my sisters on my dad's side that were twins, we reconnected during my baby shower. And literally, I remember even like my daughter was born in October, and in September, like we went to the fair together. Like they walked my ass around that fair, something tough. Like I know I did a good 6 miles around that goddamn fairgrounds that day. Like we was there from like morning to night, and it was a lot. And I was just like, I'm ready to go home. They probably walked the baby out me early, and so they had came. My niece was with them. I don't fuck with my sister that's still alive. That's been transparent and clear, and I'm gonna keep it transparent and clear. I don't fuck with her. I'm not associated with her. She's not associated with me. Matter of fact, the only sibling that I still deal with is my brother on my mother's side. And I have another brother on my mama's side. I don't have no ill will towards neither one of those ones. But all other siblings, I really don't give a fuck. We just came through the same bloodline at this point, and that's how I view it and I see it. I don't got time for no snake shit. I don't got time for nobody that value money over people. I don't got time for nobody who literally want my life, because that's what I was going through with the other sister. Literally just pure envy. And I was just excusing behavior because of family, and I ain't doing that shit no more. So that was literally some visitors. My best friend and my other childhood friend, she came. They both came, and that was really nice. My best friend didn't even want to be a godparent. Literally, I ain't even ask her, but she literally didn't want to be a godparent. Like, anyway, so I ain't even ask. I just Charlotte's godmother was picked because of who she was and all that stuff, and I think she wear guilt that like she wasn't like there for Charlotte. Like I guess she thinks she's supposed to, but like godparents literally are supposed to just take care of the child if something goes wrong with the parent. Like, so if the parent dies, you are to make sure that child religiously has, this upbringing that, the parents picked out for them. So, and you do take on that child if the parent dies. So a lot of the culture of God parenting is very miscued and very, very off. It's not just about, I mean, we need villages, of course, but it's not about just gift giving and all that shit. Like, it's about, yeah, you're gonna have to be in the child's life to have a bond, but it's really about if anything goes wrong with this parent, that person will step up and be there for the kid, raise the kid, and all that stuff. So like a lot of people don't realize that it's a lot of responsibility that come with that. And so like I think she's always wore guilt, but I feel like I picked the right person. My daughter definitely has this undeniable lasting bond with her and her kid, and like she literally is very motherly and very nurturing, and if anything was to happen to me, I would want her to like be there for my kid if I wasn't in a situation where I was married and that person could do it if something happened to me. So like I definitely picked her out of those terms, and just raised my child to be able to be free and explore whatever religion she wants to, and pick her own choice. And if she chooses to like them all like her mama do, because I just be wanting it all. Like, I just want access to all. Like, you know, that'll just be her path. And but yeah, so I literally, who else came? I think that niece came that was there with her son. He literally came in the room, pissed me off again. He was playing with the hand sanitizer, like just kept smacking that bitch, kept whacking the wall. And she was once again not, you know, managing him, and she wanted to really like talk about shit I didn't want to talk about. And so literally she ended up leaving and going to visit my mom, because my mom was literally in the hospital. She was in the hospital. She got released a day before I got released. I only stayed in the hospital for like 2 or 3 days. I can't remember exact, but I just remember being in the hospital for like a couple of days, and then I got to go home. Because I could walk, because I had natural childbirth, like there wasn't much complication going on there. So I literally was released. They did allow my mom, when my daughter first came, to come see my daughter, which was when once we got our room. But they literally, they had to like relax protocol, because usually they don't like patients from another part of the hospital to come to the maternity ward, like, because it's like a spreading the germs and all that stuff. And so literally they relaxed protocol, and they let her come and see her grandbaby that was named after her. I named my daughter after my mom. It's funny because like I was gonna name her like a variation of Anne, like instead of name her exactly after my mom, I was gonna name her Charlotte Anna White. But I literally, you know, changed it. I do remember like one of the reasons I didn't want to is because like my stepdad's mom, her name was Annalisa, and I was just like I didn't want it to be like she was named after her. But I don't know, it was something like I just wanted at first for it not to be exactly as, and like originally like her name was gonna be Madison Ann White, and then like I was just gonna give her my mom's, because I always used to give them like my dogs and shit like my mom's middle name. like my dog now is Sassy Ann White, like she's an Ann too. And so literally so she was Madison at first, but then I changed it to my mom's name. And then was debating on some flair in that middle, like just doing Charlotte Anna White. But I was just like, nah, I'm gonna just give her straight my mom, because I was like, I don't want it to be named after somebody else in the family. And it wasn't nothing against her, it's just like I just didn't want to. So I was just like, we're gonna just keep Anne. Because I was thinking Annie. I was thinking different variations of Anne and all that stuff. But I was just like, we're going to go with Anne. But even to this day, I like yelling her name. I just be like, Charlotte Ann. Like, Charlotte Ann White. Or I just like, Charlotte Ann. So, she can't stand me. Sometimes I call her Charlie, too. What's the other name I said I was going to nickname her? She told me I can't call her that. So I'd have forgot it now because I can't call her that. I forgot what it was, but I be doing all that. We call her LC though. Like some of us call her LC that know her, because like that's just short for Little Charlotte. So her nickname is LC. And but she don't respond to that from everybody. It's only certain people like she'll let call her LC. But like, where was that going? But yeah, she got to come see her. She got released the day before I did, and then she came and brought. When she did get out of the hospital, she ended up coming and bringing like clothes for me and clothes for her. Cause I didn't bring a baby bag. I didn't bring shit but a laptop. I brought a book bag. That's what I brought. And that's how strong my grind was. I brought a book bag. I didn't bring the car seat. I didn't bring nothing because I kind of was in denial. I was like, oh, I'm going to go in this hospital. They're going to send me home. But then there was a part of me like, I'm in labor. Like, so let me bring my work just in case. Nothing else. And so workaholic much, yes. Balancing now. I'm learning how to balance now. I'm trying to learn how to balance. But yeah, I've been doing this video for fucking 3 hours. That shit is crazy. Well, we're releasing over here. We're releasing, feeling like I gotta do it alone. We're releasing feeling like I gotta beg niggas to do the shit. Like, I don't have to beg that person to do it. Like, God will send someone else to do it. God will send help in so many various forms and ways. And literally just remember leaving the hospital and just embarking on this new adventure as being a mom. Not really knowing what being a mom meant fully. I thought being a mom meant being selfless to the degree where I don't get to go first at all, and there's no balance. And I thought being a good mom was, some of the things I did get right. Like, I needed to hustle. I needed to make sure I could be able to provide for this child, regardless of how her father showed up. I remember too, a hurtful thing was her birth certificate. I have an empty birth certificate. I do have paternity DNA, that my father is my father, but I don't have my father's name on my birth certificate. I always hated that. Like, it's empty. Birth certificates are contracts, and like on my contract it states that I am a fatherless child. And so I literally didn't want that for my child, and I wanted to break that for my child. I literally told this man I would pay for him to get the birth certificate, for him to do the birth certificate. He literally was going behind my back telling everybody that she wasn't his. Us taking her to meet, like, I literally took her to meet his family, and it was his adoptive family. And like, because I did know his biological sister, two of his biological sisters. So one of his biological sisters was with his adopted family, and then he had an older biological sister who was from Tobago. And so we never really got to meet, but we had access to each other, to talk to each other. So, but I took her to meet the biological family in North Carolina, and literally when they met her, they was like, oh, he's lying. Like, and I was like, lying about what? It was like, this is his baby. So he was going around telling them that it wasn't his baby and all this foul shit. The girl, just to wrap things up, the girl who had literally told me that he didn't feel like coming in the hospital that day to see his own child, literally ended up getting pregnant by this nigga, and this nigga left her while she was pregnant and went to North Carolina. I don't know the reasoning exactly. I do know that I think he got into some trouble, or like whoever they were staying with, it wasn't working out. So I don't know if it was just his idea, but I do know he ended up having to go back to North Carolina. So that meant she had to deal with being pregnant by herself and having this baby by herself. He literally told everybody the same shit he told them about me, that the baby wasn't his. And I literally had to clear that shit up and be like, that baby is his. He's lying, and even if the baby ain't his, he should get a DNA test just to prove that baby ain't his, because that baby is showing up looking like my daughter. And like, I literally took my daughter to go meet her son, because I felt like that's my daughter's brother. Like, they need to know each other, and I always tried to make sure that they would know each other. Like, but the mom was, I guess, stuck on him, and she was just never like want to work together on that. And I feel like that's a disservice to these children when men are having these babies, and when the baby mamas are having the babies by the men, and they don't want to have that shit as a family unit. Like, my daughter could literally walk past her brother when she get older, and I know who he is. She's probably only met her brother probably like 3 or 4 times. And that's crazy. Like, she should know who her brother is. He should know who his sister is. And adults gonna have to do better at this shit. Like, stop laying down having babies by these niggas, and they already got kids, and they just showed you that the kid, they ain't giving a fuck about, he ain't give a fuck about his firstborn kid. How the fuck he gonna give a fuck about the next one? And sometimes, you know, some of them do switch up. Like, definitely if they have been able to, like, be in the pregnancy and be at the birth, like, they can have a better attachment with the child. But in most cases, like, believe a nigga when they show you who they are. And women do better. Stop having these babies and thinking you better than the next woman, and you can do better than the next woman. Like, until that man heal, or until that woman heal, like, they're gonna treat your ass the same or worse. It usually get worse. So like I said, like, she ended up getting her karma, and unfortunately the karma is ended up affecting our children, because our children should know who their siblings are. So but it ended up happening to her, and it ended up happening to that child. Unfortunately, I wish he would be a parent to both of them. But I ain't in control of that. I did try to get him to sign over his rights. He rather fucked his daughter over even more by being in and out of her life and causing even more damage than being absent. So, like, she literally, you know, could have done without the in and out, but, you know, it's all God's plan, and we're going to trust the process, and we're going to see how this thing work out in the end. I'm just recapping some hurt and some pain, and I'm actually, you know, putting a lid on it. Like, moving forward, I know, like, when I have, if God wills me to have children, it won't be the same as that. I will have a loving husband and a loving father, regardless of whether me and that man works out forever or not. Like, they'll at least be there for that child. They'll at least be there for that child. I don't want no niggas that is basing how he's going to show up for the children about whether he can get in the mom's pants. That's weird behavior. That's just going to make more children in a broken home. So I don't want it. But yeah, alone was a theme that just kept coming up for me. Like, just feeling alone. And I'm just realizing that a lot of my feeling aloneness has come from me abandoning myself. And so I'm learning to sit with and be with myself more. It doesn't mean I'm perfect at it. And one of the things we need to stop telling people too is that, like, feeling alone means that you're neglecting yourself. It doesn't always mean that. Like, sometimes you just literally do want to be around others. It is human nature to want to be a social creature and to need the company of others. It looks different for every different human, of how much, but on average, the average human definitely needs socialization. So for me, being so isolated, I do know that is what God wanted for me, clearly, because he just keeps sending my ass down. I'm not complaining. I promise. I'm not complaining anymore. I'm accepting it. I do think that, like, I had to be alone in order to appreciate what's to come. And I had to be alone to return to myself. It looks like a man is in the tree, and I am so happy my imagination has returned. It looks like a giant man is in the tree. Thank you, God, because the imagination be helping me so much. See the magic in the world. But, like, that is so dope and beautiful. He probably will come to life as soon as it get dark, so let me get in the house. I'm just playing. I'm not scared of the dark. I was born in the dark. The darkness works with me. Some people be saying for me, but, like, I say it works with me. But literally, I definitely needed to be alone, just to return back to myself. You can't really know who you are until you have to sit with self. And then you still don't really know who you are until you have to interact with others and see who you show up as. Are you going to show up as them, or are you going to show up as yourself? Like, regardless of the situation, regardless of who pushed back and who make you feel bad for being yourself. So, like, I've had soft moments of both. I've had soft moments of allowing myself to be alone and sit with myself and rediscover who I am. And I've had soft moments of like, well, how are you going to respond when you get that pushback? How are you going to respond when you do interact with others and you don't fucking like what others got to say? Like, how are you going to respond? How are you going to show up? Are you going to go along, or are you going to make sure that you advocate for yourself? And so I'm slowly learning that part. Like, no people please. No people please. Stand your ground. But do it delicately in delicate situations. Whatever the situation called for, be you. Be you. That's all I can say. And a lot of the pain we experience in past events, don't stuff them down deep. Get them out. Talk to somebody. I've been preferring to talk to this camera. And because it is very, like I've said in other videos, like if you do not feel comfortable talking to others about personal business, like you literally could do a video, a journal, like a video journal, like they call it a vlog. Like you can do it and you don't have to post it. You don't have to send it to nobody. You literally can do it, not watch it and delete it. You could do it, save it, rewatch it, and then delete it. You can keep it. It's up to you, but I do find these to be very therapeutic. You don't have to post them online. You literally, like, so if you just struggle with writing, just pull out your camera phone and start doing a video where you feel like you are talking to someone else about what's going on with you. And I literally do be talking to someone else out here. I just don't know who you are. Like, that's all. I just don't know who you are. But I know these videos are meant to find whoever they're meant to find. And I literally say, do this. But if you're a private person, just don't post it. Don't post it, and you just get out your raw feelings and you analyze and talk about what happened. And it's freeing. It sets you free, and it's a key. It's a key. Don't stuff it down deep. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out. It's a key to escaping this matrix, to be honest with yourself about how you feeling and what you experienced, regardless of who experienced it differently. This is how you experienced it. This is your perception of your life. You're the one who lived it from your angle. So definitely just go ahead and figure out what works for you. But doing video things may work for you. Try it. Like, just try it, and you don't have to post it. A lot of people are not designed to heal publicly. A lot of people don't have the skin for it. I'm a little crazy. I don't know why they picked me. I don't know why they picked me for this, because I'm a little crazy. But I do know why they picked me, because it was like, yeah, you got to work on that. You got to work on your temperament. And yeah, you crazy, and we need you to be crazy, but we need you to also know when to hold and when to fold. And so I've been afforded to learn like when to react, but not everybody can do this and be okay with it. And it takes a level of vulnerability of just like not giving a fuck to like post your whole life story and business out online, and knowing that it will find those who it need to find, but it'll also find some of those things that literally don't like when you come out and tell the truth. So definitely heal. I'm sharing this one was a long one, so maybe like I will definitely sleep peacefully tonight. But I've been released, my daughter father. But I release feeling like my strength is aligned with enduring so much pain and enduring it alone, enduring it on my own. I release that. I release constantly saying I don't know how to ask for help or accept help. Like, I release that. Like, I do know, and I will practice it and implement it. But I release associating with being alone as something negative. Sometimes you're supposed to be alone. Obviously, when I was going through whatever I was going through in life, that was the path I chose, and that was the route I took. We all make decisions, and it's your path. I've made a decision for this path. Like, I could have stayed at my job. I could have took a break from my job and got medical break, and took some short-term disability until I could get my mind together and get back with my job. And I could have kept paying the highest rent that don't make sense, and I could have continued to struggle and been unhappy. And I literally could have took that path, where, yeah, I'm still helping people, but I'm still being drained. And I wouldn't have never known what peace felt like. I wouldn't have never known what following my own dreams felt like. Like, I've been helping people through my career paths follow their dreams. And like, it's like now I finally get to follow my own. And my dreams is literally just creating art. Like, that's literally, I didn't know at the time. Like, but like, literally my dream was to create art and to share it with others. To help others. Like, that's been my dream, and I've always been living my dream, but just never found the correct balance or the correct niche to be in. And I finally found my dream life. I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like. And it's a lot of different things too. I have a lot of different avenues of what it looks like and how it will be. Like, I love the healing work that I do. I love these videos that I create for others to find. I love doing Reiki. I got training this weekend that I get to do for Reiki. Oh my gosh. Like, so, and this training will help me deal with people who have experienced extreme trauma. And so look at there. Like, it'll help me deal with those who have experienced extreme trauma. And not deal with, but do energy work to heal those things, like sexual abuse and just violent traumas. Literally, I can't wait. I'm so excited. And that's another thing, like, bet on yourself. Like, I know this video is long. I'm gonna break it up into two probably. But bet on yourself. Like, literally, when I started this journey, I did not know what it was going to look like in the in-between parts. Like, I had no idea about the in-between parts, but I did get a vision of what it would look like at a certain point. And even still, that's just a certain point. I'll evolve past that too, and then I'll have another vision of something else. And so, like, literally, I didn't know the in-between. I just know what I was being called to do. I was being called to quit my job. I was being called to start these videos. I was being called to take a whole nother route that I never even fucking thought of. Like, it wasn't just me. And it was something within me. But it was also something that I just can't even explain. And I'm so thankful and grateful to God that I listened. Thank you, God. Thank you for not allowing me to not listen. I didn't want to listen. And every time I didn't want to listen, like, you beat me in the head with the signs, symbols, and synchronizations. And you didn't allow me to give up on myself, even when I wanted to. It wasn't that I didn't want to. It was plenty of times I wanted to. And God won't have it. And so I'm happy that I've been listening. I took all the money I had and I invested in this journey. I've invested in this journey. And I've been planting seeds, and I've been investing. Like, these classes I'm taking are like expensive classes. Like, I can't afford these classes on my own. But I took money that was from my retirement, and I literally, instead of like trying to buy another apartment and pay up the rent, or paying the rent up for that apartment and still would have the same issue in a couple of months, and I literally just was like, hey, look, I'm going to take this money and I'm going to invest it and I'm going to start something new. And it's been an experience. It's been a journey, and I'm doing it. I'm staying faithful. I take money, and even when I make money from the business, I take money and I put it back into investing and learning for my business. So like I take this shit serious. When I'm not doing my business, like I'm still working. I'm still producing art. I'm still producing spoken words. I'm praying that takes me somewhere. Like I really love writing. I'm literally writing my own books, and I'm just working. It might not be able to show, in the front scenes, but like I literally working my ass off through all this pain, all this struggle, all this strife, and even in an environment that I didn't want to be in. Even that has like changed and become like, it doesn't mean the bullshit ain't still happening. It's just mean that like you just get better at recognizing it, and it ain't even like walking on eggshells. It's just like putting up boundaries. Like it's certain shit I ain't going for, and you either can respect it or I can get out. And if it gets to a point where I got to get out, I'll go, and God will make a way for me. But so just learning. I think being here has taught me how to implement boundaries correctly, like not allowing the other person to be in control. A lot of times we give our power away when setting boundaries. So I've learned that, and I've just learned like, okay, you only control you. So just set your boundaries firmly. You don't even have to be super aggressive. Like just stand on business and be all right. So that is literally that was a big purge of a story. It was a story that I started when I started these videos. I finished it, but it was very rushed, and it was very much giving like me idolizing the strength I had, instead of me telling all of it. And I literally, after I was released from the hospital, that next day I went to class. I went to biology class, and I literally took a biology exam and aced it. And so I never took a break from school after I had a child. Like I never took maternity leave. I did leave that out. I never took maternity leave. I went straight through. The only time I had a break from school was when I got sick and I had to have gallbladder surgery. So like I have transcripts to prove all of this. Like there was no breaks. Like I did school summer, spring. You will see like a dip in my credit hours when I first had my child, but like I never took a break. Like I went through the semester that I signed up for fall. I finished it out. And then I went back to school and all that stuff. So like only time like I think that I literally have a break in school is when I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery. Other than that, like I hustled, I bust my ass, I studied my ass off. I worked while I was in school. And I had to manage, having a personal life, being a mom, all that stuff. I came last, and I have to I've been unlearning that. I have to come last. But I'm now showing my daughter in a different way. Like you can pivot at any time in life. Like you're not stuck to a career. You're not stuck to a life choice. Like you can pivot at any moment in life. And you should pivot if you're miserable. You should make a change. You should take leaps of faith if you're miserable. You should try. We should have a life in a world where people should be able to try new things and pivot if they're miserable and feel stuck any place in life. So just gonna end this video. It's so long, and I didn't intend for it to be like this, but when I first made it, I didn't feel like I was doing a service to it. And I'm gonna keep the old version up. I never put the part 2, but I'm happy I didn't, and I'm gonna keep what's up because I feel like genuinely, if it's up, it's out there for a reason. But I think like looking at it in a more healed state is more like there was so much pain, there was so much I shouldn't have had to do by myself. But there was just so much going on during that time for my young adult self. And there's a lot of sadness in that. A lot of sadness in her story. Just so much strength. So much strength in her story. And she did meet Dante in college. Y'all do know that. Like, she met Dante while she was in college, and she met him in a jail class that she took for religious studies. And she literally just was such a strong person, because not only did she have to carry the weight of her and her child, she carried his weight. And it was such a heavy weight. And she's free now, and she's learning to process what happened to her and release it. And I just give my young adult self so much love and compassion. Like, she was so fucking strong. And it's not that she was strong because she suffered in silence. It was strong because of what she got to overcome. The accomplishments she made. Like, not many people can say they literally got pregnant at 19, had the baby at 20, literally went through school, got 3 degrees while taking care of yourself, your partner who's struggling with drug addiction, didn't get on drugs herself, and literally fought through so many mental health crises, fought through so many of those, and like still was able to manage to keep her soul, keep her loving heart, keep her dignity. And like, she literally had people who claimed to love her try to tear her down while she was even going through all of that. While she was even going through all of that, she had family hating on her. Like, that part of my life, like, I got to see how much my family hated me. Even after he died, I got to see how much some of my family members hated me. But while he was alive, I got to see how much of my family hated me. Even though they showed me when I was younger, like, I got to see it as an adult. Like, oh, y'all don't really like me. Okay, all right. So literally, I'm just paying honor to a part of my story that I never really got to get out like I wanted to, or I think that part of me wanted to. And she was strong because of what she overcame, and because she was able to maintain her loving heart and care for others, even though they treated her like shit. No one really showed up for her like she would show up for others. So like, that part of the story, I wanted to release. All parts of me are a part of me. They're beautiful. The parts that needed to go got to go, and they already had to go. And the parts of me that was like needed and literally are beneficial in so many beautiful ways, got to stay. And I think sometimes we think about killing ego, we think about killing ego. Like, you don't have to kill ego, you just have to heal ego. There are some parts that you probably do want to kill off, and that's fine, but like, healing ego is the key. So a part of a past life of mine wanted to come out and release, and just continue to prepare for the life that I am blossoming into. And it's been one hell of a ride. It's been one hell of a life. I've had so many good times, and I've had so many low times, and I'm just now learning like how to be in that like in between and just be. And so I'm gonna end that here. This video was to pay homage to my young adult self. She went through so much, and you were strong. You were strong, and I'm gonna end it here. I keep saying that. Bye bye.